In a world where your career choices can shape your entire future, the recruitment process is supposed to be your gateway to opportunities. But what if the very gatekeepers, those entrusted with evaluating your potential, are playing by a different set of rules? What if behind the polished smiles and formal interviews, there are practices that could derail your career before it even begins? Welcome to our 3-part series, Unmasking the Dark Side of Recruitment, the scams you must know. In this series, we will dwell deep into the recruitment practices that are not just unethical, but can also be damaging to your career. From subtle red flags that can catch you off guard to the most prevalent HR malpractices that could cost you dearly. We are here to equip you with the knowledge you need to protect your future. Today, we begin with part 1, the silent killer, the hidden dangers you never suspected. You have probably heard the phrase, "What you don't know can't hurt you." But in the world of recruitment, what you don't know can actually cost you your time, your dignity, and even your future career prospects. Today, we are peeling back the curtain on some subtle yet significant foul practices in recruitment that can catch even the most vigilant job seekers off guard. The job market is tough, but it's even tougher when you are up against unethical practices that aren't immediately obvious. We'll be looking at 3 subtle foul practices: ghosting, token interviewing, and manipulating job descriptions that you need to watch out for to protect your career. Meet Meenakshi, a fresh graduate in marketing, excited about her first job interview with a company called Horizon Dynamics for a role as marketing analyst. She applied, interviewed, and left with high hopes after receiving positive feedback. But weeks go by and Meenakshi hears nothing. She sends follow-up emails, leaves voicemails, but still no response. This is ghosting, a practice where companies completely cut off communication with candidates after an interview, leaving them in the dark. It's frustrating, demoralizing, and unfortunately, all too common. Meenakshi's story highlights the emotional toll that ghosting can take on job seekers. It's more than just a lack of courtesy. It's a practice that can leave candidates feeling devalued and uncertain about their abilities. But knowing how to recognize and respond to this red flag can help you maintain your confidence and keep your job search on track. Number 1. Ghosting candidates. Ghosting isn't just about disappearing. It's about a breakdown in basic professional communication. When HR professionals fail to communicate with candidates after interviews, they are not just being unprofessional. They are undermining the candidate's confidence and potentially harming their career trajectory. Take the case of Alfred, who applied for a software developer position at Innovate Tech. After a series of interviews, he was told to expect an offer soon. But then, nothing. No calls, no emails, and eventually the job posting disappeared from the company's website. Alfred later learned from an insider that the company had decided to hire someone internally but didn't bother to inform the external candidates. This kind of ghosting leaves candidates like Alfred in limbo, wondering what went wrong and wasting valuable time that could have been spent applying elsewhere. If you find yourself in this situation, don't wait too long for a response. Send a polite follow-up, But if you hear nothing back, move on. Your time is valuable. And there are plenty of other opportunities out there. Remember, it's not a reflection of your abilities. Sometimes it's just a sign of an unprofessional recruitment process. Have you ever experienced ghosting after a job interview? How did you handle it? And what did you learn from the experience? Share your stories in the chat. We would love to hear how you navigated this frustrating situation. Number 2. Token interviewing. Token interviewing is another subtle foul practice that can be misleading and disheartening. This happens when companies interview candidates not because they are genuinely interested in hiring them, but to meet certain quotas or to give the appearance of fairness. The decision is often already made, and the interview is just a formality. Consider the story of Sukhwinder, who was interviewed for a finance manager role at Apex Financials. Despite a rigorous interview process where she answered every question with confidence and expertise, she later found out that the company had already decided to promote an internal candidate. Sukhwinder's interview was just a formality to tick a box, with no real consideration given to her qualifications. This left her feeling used and questioning her worth as a professional. To avoid falling into the trap of token interviews, do your research on the company's hiring practices. Ask about the timeline and the number of candidates being interviewed, and don't hesitate to inquire if there is an internal candidate in the running. Being informed can help you gauge the situation better and decide if the opportunity is worth your time. Have you ever felt like you were just another checkbox in the company's recruitment process? What did you learn from that experience? And how did it affect your job search? Share your thoughts with us. Your story might help others recognize the signs of token interviewing. Number 3. Manupulating job descriptions. Manipulating job descriptions is a tactic some companies use to attract candidates under false pretenses. This can involve exaggerating the role's responsibilities, downplaying the challenges, or omitting key details that might make the job less appealing. The goal is to reel you in, only for you to discover the reality once you are already on board. Take the example of Usman, who applied for a sales executive role at Metroline Enterprises. The job description promised a dynamic role with lots of client interaction and growth opportunities. But once he started, he found that the role was mostly cold calling, with little chance for advancement. Usman quickly realized that the job description had been heavily manipulated to make the role seem more attractive than it really was. Always ask detailed questions during the interview about the role and responsibilities. If something feels off or too good to be true, it's worth digging deeper. Remember, a transparent company will be upfront about the challenges and expectations of the job. Have you ever accepted a job only to find that the reality was far different from what was advertised? How did you handle the situation? And what advice would you give to others? Share your experiences in the chat. Your story might help someone else avoid a similar pitfall. These subtle foul practices might not seem significant at first, but they can have serious implications for your career. By recognizing these practices and knowing how to respond, you are taking the first step in protecting yourself and your future. In our next session, we will dive deeper into more common recruitment traps, including biased shortlisting, bait and switch tactics, and lowball offers. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, you deserve a recruitment process that respects and values your talent. And if you have any specific questions or experiences you would like to share, drop them in the comment section below. We'll be responding to your questions directly and would love to help you navigate these challenges with confidence. Your questions might even help others in the community who are facing similar situations. That's all from my side for today, guys. If you have learned something valuable, please make sure you hit the like button. Use comments section for any comments, topic recommendations, appreciation, or feedback. And for more such insightful personal, career, or business growth topics, please subscribe to Treclatainment. Thank you so much for watching, and I will interact with you through our next video. Bye-bye.